Hi everybody, Dr. Joe here. I hope that you are making sense of this concept or model of personal change and transformation. I hope that you're continuing doing the last meditation over the last few days. And now I want to introduce this concept of the present moment. Now, many people talk about the present moment or the now, but I want to offer you a different understanding because there is an elegant moment, according to our research, when a person gets beyond themselves. They get beyond their personality or their identity that's connected to their personal reality or the life that they've been living every single day. And it's that process of getting beyond yourself that allows you to create from no longer the known or that personality, but from the unknown, from a new personality, from a different state of being. And when we've studied all these brain scans and we looked at a formula of understanding, we realized then that there is this moment where a person has the ability to dissociate from their body. In other words, they have no awareness or no attention on their body. They forget about the environment. And what is your environment made of? Think about the elements that make up everything in the environment. You have bodies, you have people, you have objects, you have things, there are places that you go to, there are animals, pets, plants, but let's just call those bodies or objects or things. And so then every one of those objects, those bodies, those things, those people, as we said in our previous episodes, has a neurological network in your brain, which means it's known to you. So then, as we've been saying, the change is to be greater than your body, to be greater than your environment, and to be greater than time. And that means then, if the familiar past that is based on memories and emotions that keep us connected to the past, and the predictable future, the anticipation of the same event in your future based on what you did in the past, is the known, then there's only one place where the unknown exists, and that is the sweet spot of the generous present moment. And I want to talk to you about a simple exercise that I'm going to ask you to practice, a new meditation to help you find the present moment. Because once we find the present moment, we can begin to execute a greater understanding of the formula, and we can build from that point. So here we go. Remember now, the way you think and the way you feel has dramatic effects on your life. And if you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, and those feelings are familiar feelings and emotions from the past, if you can't think greater than how you feel, then you are thinking in the past. And if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, your past is going to be your future. So we said in previous episodes, most people wake up in the morning with a blank slate. They don't feel anything, they're not thinking anything, and because the brain is an artifact of everything you've learned and experienced. It's the memory bank of the known self, the autobiographical self. It's a reflection of everything known in your environment. Most people then, they start thinking in familiar ways, and their familiar thoughts are memories. And those memories have emotions associated with them, and of course, they start their day by remembering an event and feeling the emotions of it, mostly their problems. They're starting their day in a state of being that's the same every single day, and that becomes the unconscious habit. They're returning back to the same identity, the same state of thinking and feeling, the same state of being. And you ask the person, how are you doing today? And they'll say, I am unhappy. Whenever you say I am, you are commanding your mind and body into a destiny because you are combining your thoughts and feelings. The I am is your state of being. So most people will say, I am unhappy, I am frustrated, I am angry, I am negative, I am suffering. And that is their affirmation. That is the affirmation that they believe in every single day. So it makes sense then when they use a different affirmation like I am abundant or I am happy, that thought is never going to influence the body because the body isn't feeling happy. The body is feeling unhappy. And until we begin to change the body, will that thought ultimately make it into the body? So then we said then that's the familiar past. Most people do that. And then they wake up in the morning and they run through a series of habituations, a routine set of behaviors that they do every single day. In other words, they've lost their free will to a series of programs and their body is dragging them into the same future, the same known future based on what they did yesterday or in the past. And to me, that's karma. They're living the same lifetime every single day. But there's no unseen hand that's doing it to them. They're just 95% of the time unconscious. And I say that if you are not in the present moment, then for the most part, people are running a program and they're unconscious. Wow, now think about that. 95% of the time, people are unconscious to what they should be conscious of. So then here's the familiar past, that's the known. Here's the predictable future, that's the known. And the habituation of living in that predictable future in routine, on autopilot, means that in order for us to change, we have to execute a will, a free will, that's greater than the unconscious program where we lost our will. That means then we're going to have to take the brain and body from the memories and the emotions out of the familiar past into the present moment, and we're going to have to be greater than the body. It means then that we can't be thinking about the people in our lives or our cell phone or our boss or our coworkers or our kids in the meditative process. We can't be thinking about our pets, our pain, our finances, the news, emails, texts. Those are all knowns. And as long as we're thinking about the known, we're thinking the same. So then the stronger the emotions that we feel from some problem or some condition in our lives, the more we pay attention to those people or those problems. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So then the problem you have with your coworker, the problem you have with your body, the problem you have with your finances, the problem you have with your ex, the problem you have with your children, the stronger the emotion that you feel from that problem, the more you pay attention to the person or the cause. And if where you place your attention is where you place your energy, it makes sense then you are giving your power away. You're giving your vital life force, your permission to change to that person or to that problem. And so then every person, every circumstance, every place, everything, every object, remember I said has a neurological network in your brain. So then now the more you pay attention to that person or that problem, the more you give that person your energy because the emotion is binding you or giving your attention to that person or problem. It makes sense then that if you're sitting in a meditation and your body starts getting angry because it's normally used to getting angry at 8 o'clock in the morning because you're in traffic or watch the news, or you normally check your emails at 7:30 at work and you judge all the people you work with, and your body is used to those chemicals and you're not conscious that you're doing that, you just do that automatically. And now you're all of a sudden inhibiting those emotions to the body and no longer firing and wiring those thoughts in your brain. But your body's off schedule. It's used to being angry at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's used to being judgmental at 7:30 in the morning because you've done that every day. And it's off schedule. It makes sense then that the body's going to want to feel those emotions because it's used to it. So the body is going to start influencing your mind, and if you don't feel it from your outer environment, it's going to recall a memory so that you do feel that emotion. And this is where people say, I can't meditate, it's too hard. No, I want you to know when that comes up, you're actually doing your meditation right. This means then that you're in the process of change because now here it all comes and you have to see it in order for you to change it. So then the stronger the emotion you feel for some problem or condition in your life, the more you pay attention to it, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy. you're giving a lot of your attention, a lot of your energy to different people and problems in your life. And all of a sudden now, it's the energy of the emotions we feel that causes us to put our attention on that person. We could say then we are beginning to create an electromagnetic bond with everything known in our life. Every person, every object, your cell phone, your home, where you sleep, where you go to work, your computer, your car, your boss, your coworkers, your cousins, your siblings, your parents, your kids. All of those elements has an emotion associated with them. So it makes sense then that as long as you keep your attention on all of those elements in your life, that you're taking all of your energy and you're directing it away from you. And there's no energy in your inner world of thoughts and feelings to think differently than everything known in your life. So if you're sitting in your meditation and you start feeling those emotions, and those emotions are coming up, I want you to understand that it's not time to get up and turn on your cell phone. It's not time to check your texts. It's not time to get on your computer and check your emails or turn on the TV or turn on the radio or call a friend. That's what people do when they don't think that they can change those emotional states. I want you to understand that when that emotion comes up, that you're doing something right. And I want you to understand that if you have the ability, and we'll talk about this, to learn how to lower the volume to that emotion, and you settle your body back down into the present moment. That's the moment you're telling the body it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind. And if you can lower the volume to that emotion, it makes sense you're going to take your attention off that person or that problem, and you're going to begin to weaken those energetic bonds. And if you keep practicing it and you keep working on lowering the volume to that emotion, there'll come a moment where you'll no longer think of that person or problem, and now you are breaking those energetic bonds and you are calling energy back to you. And we've measured this. You begin to build your own electromagnetic field. You take your power back, your permission to change, your very life force to create with, and build your own field. And now there's energy to heal. Now there's energy to create a new life. And the way that I describe this is, let's say you use your parents to reaffirm your emotional conditioning to guilt. You use your friends to reaffirm your addiction emotionally to suffering. You use your ex to reaffirm your conditioning to resentment. You need that person. You need that problem in your life to make you feel that emotion. You use your enemies to reaffirm your conditioning or attachment to hatred. Well then, when you sit in your meditation and you learn how to overcome those emotions, what I'm saying is how much of your creative energy is tied up in guilt? How much of your creative energy is tied up in suffering? How much of your creative energy is tied up in hatred or resentment that you could be using to design a new destiny? So then if where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and you wake up in the morning and you start thinking about your problems, and those are memories from the past, and those memories have an emotion attached to them, the moment you start remembering those problems and the emotions associated with them, you are siphoning energy out of the present moment into the past, because that's where your attention is. By the same means, when you wake up and in the routine of your unconscious thinking, you start thinking about all the people you have to see, all the places you have to go, all the things you have to do, all the meetings you have to get to, all the errands you have to run, all the people you have to see in your known familiar reality. You are siphoning energy out of the present moment into that predictable future. Now think about this. And as you siphon energy into that predictable future and into the familiar past, the memories of the past are familiar thoughts, and the feelings of those memories are familiar feelings. The memories or the anticipation of the future events that are going to happen in your life are connected to everything known in your life. Same people, same place, same objects, same things. And every one of those, you can anticipate the feeling of every experience in your predictable future. Then it makes sense then that your energy, the way you think and the way you feel, thoughts being the electrical charge in the quantum field, feelings being the magnetic charge in the quantum field. That if you're thinking and feeling in the familiar past and the predictable future, and you're thinking in the same exact ways, your energy is exactly the same, and your energy is completely connected to this line of time called the autobiographical self. So then, the problem is when people sit down and do their meditation, and they sit down and they say, okay, now I'm going to do my meditation. While they're doing their meditation, they're thinking about their coffee. When they're drinking their coffee, they're thinking about their shower. When they're in their shower, they're thinking about getting dressed. When they're getting dressed, they're thinking about what they're going to eat for breakfast. When they're eating breakfast, they're checking their emails and they're thinking about work. When they're on work, they're thinking about vacation. When they're on vacation, they're thinking about work. They're never in the present moment because the brain is an anticipation machine and it likes to know what's going to happen next. Now, if you can predict what's going to happen next, it's the known, which means then that there's no room for the unknown in a person's life because there's so many knowns in anticipation of the next event that if the unknown actually happened, it would be an inconvenient moment for them. So then we learned in this process the first step of the formula. What if a person sat down and I asked them as a process to close their eyes and ask them to work on the laboring for the sweet spot of the present moment. And if I gave them a simple thing to do and I asked them when they close their eyes, with their eyes closed in the blackness, when they close their eyes, they see blackness. And if I asked them, I said to them, it's time to become nobody. What do I mean by that? I mean, take your attention off your body. And if you go from a somebody to a nobody, if you take all of your attention off your body and you're unaware of your body, then all of a sudden you're getting greater than your body. If I asked you to become aware of the present moment to such a degree that you weren't thinking about how long the music was going to go, what you need to do when the meditation ends, what meetings you have to get to, or get ready for bed, or whatever you start thinking about in the future, or thinking about what happened yesterday in the past. And if you caught yourself every time you noticed that your attention was going into the predictable future or the familiar past, and you became aware that you were doing that, and you relaxed back into the present moment and you focused on nothing, on that blackness. Now, we're going to develop this over the next few episodes, but just go ahead and follow my instructions. And you weren't thinking about the people in your life, your cell phone, your computer, your car, your home. You weren't thinking about where you were sitting, where you work, or your desk, where you live. You weren't thinking about anything. You were going from something to nothing, from someone to no one. You're not thinking about anybody in your life. You're not thinking about any place in your life. You go from somewhere to nowhere. And if you're not thinking about the predictable future and the familiar past, you would go from some time to no time. And it's the act of doing this that brings you into the sweet spot of the generous present moment. Now, if you're not thinking about any of those known things in your life, that means you're moving closer to the unknown. So the meditation, I will say to you as a practice, and we'll build on this, it's time to become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. Now, this is the process of getting beyond your body, your environment, and time to labor for the sweet spot of the generous present moment. And I'm going to ask you to practice being in this blackness. And I'm going to take you on a little journey that when you close your eyes and you become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time, the moment you notice yourself returning back to the known, you think about people or objects or things or a place you need to be, simply become aware that your attention is on the known. Stop, return back to the present moment, relax your body, and I'm going to ask you to put your attention on that blackness. Now, I'll explain it as we go along, but this is practice. This is the laboring of the sweet spot of the generous present moment. That is where the unknown exists. So practice this in your next meditation And in the next episode, I'm going to build it up even more so you'll continue to do it and you'll assign more meaning to it. I hope you enjoy. Sit up. Eyes closed. Take a breath. And relax. Your body feel your body relaxing. More. Slow it down. And inhale all the way to the top. And hold it. And exhale. And relax. Into nothing. More. And inhale through your nose all the way. And hold it. And exhale. And relax. More. And inhale through your nose all the way. And hold it. And exhale. And relax. Your body feel your body relaxing.
into blackness. And now, it's time to become nobody no one in nothing in nowhere in no time to become pure consciousness. In a vacuum of space. As an awareness aware that you're aware in this infinite black space. Stay there. Pay more attention to it. Less attention to you. And invest all of your energy, your attention into the unknown. And the longer you linger in the unknown, the more you create possibilities life. Tune in to the blackness and feel. And lose yourself. To nothing. Trust. In the unknown. And if you find your mind returning to familiar things and objects, to familiar people, places in your known familiar reality, to your body, to your habits or your emotions, to thinking about the predictable future in time, or remembering the familiar past in time. Simply become aware that your attention is back to your known three-dimensional reality. Pause for a moment. Come back to the present moment. And unfold back into possibilities, the blackness. Stay present. And now, slowly bring your awareness back to your body, to your environment, and to this time. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the material world. In this space and time.